Well, Lisa, your baby's about to be born. How are you feeling?
I guess, apart from feeling very physically large, cumbersome, very tired, but very chilled and quite happy that I'm here. It's kind of finally starting to come, to an end.
Emotionally, how have you been? Because obviously you've had postnatal depression with three of your
Yes.
children in the past. So how have you been managing now to actually hopefully prevent that?
Hopefully present that. I'm now at the point where I am deliberately pushing myself to relax as much as possible, in kind of preparation to make sure that obviously now is not a stressful time, and it's just, you do your normal preparations of like cooking your meals ready for when the baby gets here, and stuff like that, making sure obviously your hospital bag's all packed, you know what's going to be happening, but you kind of take time to enjoy the positives of obviously the baby not being there yet. It's a great time to kind of sit around and put your feet up, have a cup of tea and a biscuit, and enjoy those little moments that you're not gonna really get very many of them kind of once the baby gets here, because obviously everything will be focused on the baby. So it's taking that time for yourself and feeling good about yourself.
And I haven't managed it. I know it's terrible.
Okay.
At the moment it's about me being happy and kind of relaxed, which is what will kind of stimulate obviously my oxytocin levels and push them up, ready for obviously my body to kind of have a baby.
Communication is the key. If you're talking to somebody, and more importantly listening to somebody, then that's the answer. If somebody's feeling a little bit wobbly, they've got to be able to say, I'm not having a very good day, and sometimes all they need is a cup of tea and a friendly face. Sometimes it's a little bit more. So having regular meetups with Lisa, checking in with her that she's all right. We text each other as well, and I see her on Facebook, all the social media outlets, to make sure she's doing okay. But the important thing is she knows where I am, because I don't want to pester her, but she knows if she needed me, she could text me or call me.
Most women have a bit of the baby blues after the baby anyway. When you've had postnatal depression in the past, when does it normally kick in and start, to perhaps go from the baby blues to something that perhaps a bit more severe?
For me, obviously, my baby blues have always been linked in with obviously the breastfeeding and the day 2, 3, depending on when your milk comes in. You normally know. Oh my goodness, you feel like you could just cry. It's a different kind of thing for me to postnatal depression. It is a flood of kind of hormones, and it's not necessarily that I'm crying because I'm upset. I'm just crying because I know it's hormonal. For me, it's always been, I'd say by 3 months, if I feel like it hasn't lifted, I know that there's something else going on with my hormones. My hormones are not settling back down. I'm not having like a good week kind of thing. It's there persistently, kind of in the back of your head. I feel very by around about 3 months, it tends to kind of take on the whatever form it's going to take on, whether it be OCD and cleaning and compulsive, kind of having to be paranoid about different things. And it's around that sort of time you start getting the intrusive thoughts that are not normal, and it's around that sort of time that you also start to kind of get a little bit more sleep, so therefore you should be starting to feel more normal. And if anything, for me, it's around that sort of time when I am starting to get a bit of sleep and the adrenaline of looking after a baby is wearing down, that it gives rise to kind of other emotions and other kind of feelings coming up to the surface. You can't really wave a magic wand over postnatal depression and it stops. It's something you kind of go through, and it's just a way of managing it to make it easier, and not as controlling. It's like learning to not give it the power to kind of completely rule your life,